What's up guys, Kennan here from Marshall Goldman Motor Sales, and today we're talking about the Bugatti Chiron, or the Bugatti Chiron, however you want to pronounce it. So this car is amazing. Everybody knows it's amazing, but I don't think people really appreciate how big of an engineering marvel this car is. Unlike all of its competitors, it accomplishes all of its amazing trivia using a non-hybrid internal combustion engine. So we're going to get into some of the technical details about this car, go over some of the trivia, and help you understand why the Bugatti Chiron is one of the greatest cars ever built. So let's begin by talking about this car's predecessor, the Bugatti Veyron. So the Veyron was a groundbreaking car in its day. 1,000 horsepower, 253 miles an hour, absolutely crazy. And this car really builds on that basis. This car makes 1,479 horsepower, 1,180 foot-pounds of torque, which is ridiculous. That's an improvement of almost 300 horsepower over the Veyron Super Sport and a whopping nearly 500 horsepower over the standard Veyron. So in a relatively short period of time, technology came on leaps and bounds with this car. Let's talk more about this incredible engine. As you can see, it sits here, no engine cover for cooling reasons, right in the back of the Chiron. So, amazing facts about this engine. At full chat, this engine will be sucking in air at a rate of 2,118 cubic feet of air per minute. Now, to put that in sort of perspective, because that's a weird fact, that's about half of a semi-trailer full of air per minute. It's just insane. And likewise, it'll cycle 211 gallons of water per minute. So basically, the water pump in this car is enough, powers enough to put out a fire. That's how much water is circulated through all the radiators to keep this engine happy and to keep it cool at its top speed of 261 miles an hour. So let's run over some of the numbers of this car because they're just unbelievable and I can't keep them memorized, so I wrote them down. So the car will do 0 to 60 miles an hour in 2.4 seconds, 0 to 124 miles an hour in 6.5 seconds, 0 to 186 miles an hour in 13.6 seconds, and 0 to 249 in 32.6 seconds. The craziest fact about that is it'll do 0 to 249 to 0 in 41.96 seconds, which is a record. And it's just unbelievable. But out of all that, my favorite fact about it is that it will do 249 to 0 in 9.4 seconds. Like, that's just unbelievable. Getting to that speed is one thing, but then coming back from it that fast is incredible. Now, you're going to cover some distance in that period of time coming back down, but it will do the whole 0 to 249 to 0 run in 2 miles, which is just unfathomable to me. So let's talk tires and brakes. When we're talking about all that stopping performance, obviously you need to have brakes that pair to it. One big reason why this car can haul down from that speed is its wing. It uses aerodynamic brakes, but it also uses brakes, standard road brakes. But these aren't just any sort of normal brakes. They're made of titanium, and they're the first 3D printed brakes ever made. They're 8-piston calipers, so they haul down, mostly speaking about the front, but because of lighting reasons, we're back here in the rear. The other thing are the tires. So the Chiron will do 261 miles an hour. It's electronically limited to that speed. And the reason is Bugatti cited safety of the tires being the issue. In 2018, when this car came out, Michelin hadn't developed a set of tires that could handle this car's true potential until recently, of course, when they did the full run to 300 miles an hour in what will be the Chiron Super Sport, which is, again, unfathomable to me. The secret to those tires is that it had metallic threads woven into the rubber to help with dissipation and to increase strength, I believe. So they were a modified version of the Michelin Sport Cup 2 tires, and they are phenomenal tires to begin with. But naturally, on a car that's going to be able to accelerate to that amount of speed, you're going to generate a ton of heat. But again, more importantly, coming back down from that sort of speed, you're going to really put those tires through their paces. They're actually tested to 317 miles an hour, the equivalent, to be able to handle those sort of forces. So as big of an engineering feat as the rest of the car is, simple things like the tires are one of the most important aspects, because really, no matter how much power this car generates, all that's between you and the road are those tires. So one of the interesting things I found while researching this car was actually talking about my favorite design element of the whole thing, and that's the taillights. So again, this car was based largely on the Veyron. You have to think of this as a really updated version of the Veyron. So one of the design elements the Bugatti actually spent the most time engineering were the taillights, which I found to be really fascinating. But they have this beautiful design to them. I mean, I would love to have something like that on my wall. Just like, they're just so pretty. And they're extremely effective. This car, as a design element, this car is very recognizable both in the daylight and at night. And I just found it interesting that of all the areas they could have spent lots of time engineering, one of the areas they spent the most time on was the taillights. Let's talk about carbon fiber. So obviously this car is constructed mostly of carbon fiber. What I like about this example is there isn't that much exposed carbon, which a lot of performance cars do, but it's definitely there. The reason, of course, is structural rigidity. This is a carbon fiber monocoque chassis, and the chassis itself has 50,000 Newton meters per degree of rigidity, or a flexural rigidity of 0.25 millimeters per ton. Now, those numbers might not mean a lot to a lot of people who aren't engineers. Basically, what you need to know is that it has very similar structural rigidity to that of an LMP1 car, which is mind-blowing for a road car. The Veyron, one of its areas of one of its soft areas, I would say, was handling. This car is definitely not that way. This car can handle very well, despite being so big and wide and being geared for top speed. It's still a car that you can drive every day, or if you're crazy, you can take it to a track. So now that we're inside the Chiron, instantly when you're in here, you're struck by how simple it is. Obviously, when you're doing the kind of speed that this car can do, you don't really want a lot of distractions. And Bugatti placed an emphasis on this car is going to be a piece of automotive history. It already is. But going forward in time, like, this car is going to be looked back with reverence, and they didn't want it to feel dated. As a result, there are no stuck-on screens anywhere in this car. Everything is integrated. Everything that looks like metal obviously is, and is polished and knurled really beautifully. I mean, it's really a heck of a place to be. Another thing that I really like is, like, on the passenger side, you notice there's no airbag cover. There's no, like, stitched area where the airbag would be. And the reason for that is Bugatti actually was able to create an airbag. It's the first airbag ever made that has the strength to punch through carbon fiber when it goes off. Now, if you want, I don't know that you necessarily want to be hit with carbon fiber shrapnel when your airbag goes off, but in the particular case of this car, that airbag will punch through, and there's no need to make a separate cover for it, which is very elegant, very cool. Another cool and elegant feature is this light that's in the middle. It's obviously become one of the main design features and staples of this car, and it's one of the largest lights of its type ever put into production in anything. So to be in a car like this, it just adds those things of making it special. And Justin and I were just talking a second ago. Sitting in the sun, it's nice because this interior gets warm and it smells really nice in here. It smells very premium, like you expect it to smell. It actually, to me, smells like a really nice Audi or a really nice Porsche, which I know is a little bit sacrilege to say on a $3 million car. But yeah, it's a really nice place to be. The seats are comfortable. And that's the amazing thing about the Chiron, is that it is still a normal car. Despite all of this engineering and incredible stuff and, diamond embedded speakers, it's still a normal car, and it's still one that you can actually use and enjoy should you choose to do so. So while the Chiron might not be everybody's cup of tea, especially for over $3 million, you have to respect the engineering. This car is to the road what the Concorde was to the sky. It was engineering with zero compromise to produce something that was just wicked fast. And in that regard, the Chiron is unbelievable. Obviously, this car is very special, and if you want to take a closer look at it, you can see more on our website, marshallgoldman.com. If you have any questions, you can always leave them in the comments below. But I hope this video gives you guys a little bit of insight into seeing how special this car really is. As always, guys, thank you for watching. I'll catch you in the next one.